Shalom, shalom, and welcome to another episode of God's Little Hummingbird, the podcast where we are reading through the Bible from the beginning to the end using the original language as a guide. Today we're in 2 Chronicles 23. Yes, my life has been so busy for the last year that this podcast has not been being created as much as it used to be because the format is so much more difficult. Everything's just like not what it used to be, and I'm extremely busy. However, every single week, hours upon hours of teachings are uploaded to the YouTube channel at God's Little Hummingbird Bible Times, or Bible Tea. This is Bible Tea. And it's over on the YouTube channel. And every week I upload hours and hours of content over there. Over on Facebook at Melissa Schilling Smith, that's my primary platform. You can find lots of teachings and informational videos and posts over there as well. And if you have questions, reach out on Facebook at Melissa Schilling Smith. I will also see the messages from Instagram at God's Little Hummingbird, but I don't usually see the messages on TikTok or on YouTube. I apologize about that. This granny, too old for that. Okay, look at that. 2 Chronicles chapter 23. In the 7th year, Jehoiada strengthened himself and made a covenant with the captains of hundreds in the 7th year. That's important to remember. Please keep that note. Azariah the son of Jeroham, Ishmael the son of Jehonahan, Azariah the son of Oded, Maaseiah the son of Adiah, and Elishaphat the son of Zikri. So Jehoiada was a priest from Zadok, from Zadok. That is important as well. I think these are all prophetic pictures for us. And they went throughout Judah and gathered the Levites from all the cities of Judah and the chief fathers of Israel, and they came to Jerusalem. Why Jerusalem? Because that's the name, that's the place where Yah put his name. That's the place when Messiah returns, he will reign from. This is the place Yeshua, Yahweh God, has chosen for his people, for his house. That's the promised land. Then all the assembly made a covenant with the king in the house of Elohim, and he said to him, Behold, the king's son shall reign, as Yahweh has said of the sons of David. Here we go. Here's this king that has been hidden, and in the 7th year he's being revealed. He's from the sons of David, the anointed kingship. In Jeremiah 31, it clarifies, and Jeremiah 33, you can never break that covenant with the house of David. Always, David will be the ruler. Actually, I think it's just Jeremiah 33, but it goes with the new covenant in Jeremiah 31. This is what you shall do. 1/3 of you entering on the Sabbath of the priests and Levites shall be keeping watch over the doors. 1/3 shall be at the king's house, and 1/3 at the gate of the foundation. They're positioning themselves to protect the king. All the people shall be in the courts of the house of Yahweh, but let no one come into the house of Yahweh except the priests and those of the Levites who serve. Why? Because they would defile the temple. Only the Levites are the set apart ones. They may go in, the Levites, for they are holy, but all the people shall keep the watch of Yahweh. And the Levites shall surround the king on all sides, every man with his weapons in his hand, and whoever comes into the house, let him be put to death. You are to be with the king when he comes in and when he goes out. So the Levites and all Judah did according to all that Jehoiada the priest commanded. The Levites and Judah. Notice here's the priesthood and the people working together. There is no separation of, quote, church and state. This is religion working at its best because this is the true religion, the only religion, the Torah, right? That's what we're to follow, the one of the Bible, Yahweh's truth. So his kings are to have a theocracy. They are to teach the Torah. And each man took his men who were to be on duty on the Sabbath, with those who were going off duty on the Sabbath. For Jehoiada the priest had not dismissed the divisions. And Jehoiada the priest gave to the captains of hundreds the spears and the large and small shields, which had belonged to King David that were in the temple of Elohim. Very fitting that David, the one from which the kingship is always supposed to come, they used his weapons that he had found. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. Then he said, all the people, every man with his weapon in his hand, from the right side of the temple, the house, to the left side of the temple, the house. Whose house? God's house, Yah's house, along by the altar and by the temple, all around the king. And they brought out the king's son, put the crown on him, gave him the testimony, the Torah, the commandments, that's what the king is supposed to rule by, and made him king. That word testimony there, adut, is the witness. It means witness. It means to declare the testimony of who Yah is. That's how we overcome the Antichrist, is by the blood of Messiah and our testimony. How do we overcome the Antichrist? How do we overcome Satan? Through the blood of Messiah and the Torah. So we overcome by the blood of Messiah and through obedience to the testimony, the character of Yah. We act out his character, which overcomes Satan's traps. We are divided from God by sin, but through obedience to Yah, we overcome Satan, and we're given grace to do that through the blood of Messiah. That's a beautiful picture. Okay, then Jehoiada and his sons anointed him and said, "Long live the king." Now, when Athaliah heard the noise of the people running and praising the king, she came to the people in the temple of Yahweh. She's like, "What is going on?" When she looked, there was the king standing by his pillar at the entrance, and the leaders and the trumpeters were by the king. All the people of the land were rejoicing and blowing trumpets, also the singers with musical instruments and those who led in praise. Well, who returned to the sound of a trumpet on Yom Teruah, the Feast of Trumpets? Our King Yeshua. He's going to make it known that he's king on earth. So Athaliah tore her clothes and said, "Treason, treason." Now remember, this is the seventh day. Athaliah is tearing her clothes. Do you think here Athaliah represents the great harlot of Babylon, the Christian church? Satan's ruling empress. Italy shaped like a hooker's boot. It's a city on 7 hills. Revelation 17 talks about the harlot and her daughters and talks about it's a city on 7 hills. The end time kingdom that is ruling on earth when Messiah returns, according to Daniel 2, will be from Rome, that has the 10 toes. So partly now Rome, partly clay. So partly the children of God, the clay, mixed with Rome. And in that time, the clay is separated from the iron, the children of God, the 10 tribes that were scattered, being extricated from the Roman system. And in those days, the stone cut without hands comes and sets himself up as king forever, and is set as king forever. He doesn't do it himself. It's by authority of the Father. Do you see the prophecy in this? Oh my goodness. But she says treason, treason. And just like the church, if we follow Torah, if we follow the ways of Yah, they're like, heretics, heretics, legalists, Judaizers. See how there's a prophecy in this? Verse 14, and Jehoiada the priest brought out the captains of hundreds who were set over the army and said to them, "Take her outside under guard and slay with the sword whoever follows her." For the priest had said, "Do not kill her in the house of Yahweh." Right? You don't want to put the blood in the temple and defile it. So they seized her, and she went by the way of the entrance of the horse gate. Horses represent pride, this proud old horse, into the king's house, and they killed her there. Then Jehoiada made a covenant between himself, so he made a cutting, a deal between himself, the people, and the king, that they should be Yahweh's people. And all the people went to the temple of Baal and tore it down. They tore down the bad temple of the pagan gods. They broke it in pieces and its altars and images, and killed Matan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. Also Jehoiada appointed the oversight of the house of Yahweh to the hand of the priests, the Levites whom David had assigned in the house of Yahweh, to offer the burnt offerings of Yahweh, as it is written in the law of Moses, with rejoicing and with singing, as it was established by David. And he set the gatekeepers at the gates of the house of Yahweh, so that no one who was in any way unclean should enter. Remember in Ezekiel, we're told that no one uncircumcised in heart or flesh gets to enter the temple or come into the presence of Yah. Do you see this prophecy? Do you see this? No unclean is going to enter. That's also in Revelation, that no unclean person is going to come in before Yah anymore. He's going to rid us of the unclean. Oh, he's so good. Maybe that's in Daniel, but you get my point. Then he took the captains of hundreds, the nobles, the governors of the people, and all the people of the land, and brought the king down from the house of Yahweh. And they went through the upper gate to the king's house, and set the king on the throne of the kingdom. So all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet, for they had slain Athaliah with the sword. When Messiah Yeshua returns, we will have peace. That will be the Sabbath rest of earth, under our King Yeshua, who leads us in obedience to the commandments of Yah. And obedience is what brings peace between us and the Creator. Do you want peace? Obey. You have grace through the blood of Yeshua to cover you when you fall, when you ask for forgiveness, when you repent, and you can keep running the race of obedience. I love you all. Have a blessed day. Nice seeing you again.